At this time, I have the honor to present to you the moral leader of our nation. I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Guys, could y'all please do me a favor on this one? If you wouldn't mind staying to the end of this one, I would like to really have a conversation with you all about this one. I'm going to try not to interrupt this video as much as I possibly can. Not saying I'm not going to interrupt it at all, but I am going to have something to say after this one right here, and I would love for you to participate in the comments as well. Okay.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later,
material prosperity.
The Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds.
What y'all gotta say about that, man? Please tell me what y'all gotta say about that bad check marked insufficient funds. I would love to hear your part, your vantage point, your view on that part right there.
But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
The riches of freedom and the security of justice. Wow. Wow.
We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time.
Wow.
To make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not
so
an
many
end,
people.
but a beginning. Those who
So
hope
many people.
that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual.
Like that. Like that. So many people.
There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation.
Wow.
Until the bright day of justice emerges.
It's so daggone graceful in how you
But
speak.
that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice.
Mm-hmm.
In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds.
That's right.
Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom
Go ahead.
by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my gosh. I love that. Okay, this is something that they couldn't do back in the day. I'm going to play that part over, man. I just that one part right there. Got to play that part over, man. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, bruh. Come on, Dr. King.
Wrongful deeds.
Don't get into no wrongful
Let us not
deeds.
seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom
Yeah.
by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that goes over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people's heads. Dr. King he was trying most peaceful way possible. We could move forward without having to be bitter and angry and try to get back. Even the playing field. Or settle the score. Now we ain't gotta do all that. You now are in a position that you've never been in your life. All of us. Let's make the best out of this. Let's do what we got to do. I love that.
We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny.
I still know I still know a gang, a whole slew of my people, black people, who do not like, trust, care for, or have anything positive to say about white people. And I'm like, bruh, really, how long are you going to be stuck mentally in that negative abyss? You're not going to move on. You can't move forward that way. Oh man, let's get back to Dr. King. I don't want to mess up his speech, but this, he is breaking it down, man. If y'all don't get it right, so many people need to hear this daggone speech again and again and again.
And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom.
Yep.
We cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead.
That's right.
We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police.
That's right. Let's get some stuff right.
We can never be satisfied. As long as our bodies, heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city.
You got to change stuff up. That's right.
We cannot be satisfied.
That's right.
As long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied.
Go ahead, bro.
As long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only.
That's right. And hopefully y'all understand that completely what he's saying. Don't give up on this fight until we are actually equal all across the board. Right now, if you look into this crowd, there's a whole lot of black people and white people standing shoulder to shoulder, waist hip to hip, and sometimes nuts to butts, because there's a whole bunch of people out there that are part of this fight. They are part of this collective that want to see things better. But he's saying there's still a bunch of things that we cannot do. We can't even travel without the fear of something happening to us. We can't even get lodging at a hotel or a motel when we go out of state or out of the city or even in our own places of living. We can't get that. Those was the times of segregation where it was really, really heavy, really thick. He said until all that stuff is fixed. Because right now we're at a moment where we can really come together and do something powerful with one another. I'm talking about black and whites together. We can do something powerful together if we just do these things right here. But do not let up until these things are happening. It's like some demands. Like when these demands are met, now we can move over. We can move forward, like linked up, shoulder to shoulder, ready to fight against injustice. Let's go, man.
We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go, Doc.
No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Man, you hear that voice? Justice rolls. Powerful. Man, orator.
I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution. and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities.
So many people.
Knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed.
A lot of people.
Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up,
live out the true meanings
meaning
of its creed. Go ahead, bruh.
We hold these truths to
be self-evident that
all
all
men are created.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia,
Yeah.
the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
The sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down. Will be able to sit down lovingly amongst one another and do everything together. Like break bread together, do business together. Like that is happening as long as people don't try to always, I want them to pay for what they did. Come on, man. Come on, Dr. King.
To sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Let's go.
That one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream.
Yeah.
That my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Let's go, man. Let's go. I don't know why they had to take this guy away from us, man. Oh, my God.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will
Go
be
ahead,
made
man.
And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true.
That's right.
And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia.
Yeah.
Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village,
What we gonna say,
hamlet,
Doc?
from every state and every city,
What we gonna be?
we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men,
Jews and Gentiles,
Protestants and Catholics,
Yeah.
will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. My God, let's go. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Can we get back to that? Can we please get back to that? No matter our past, no matter our forefathers' sins, can we please come together? One of my brothers told me that I was pandering on this channel, trying to get views from a certain group of people, from you all. I had to really look within. I felt defeated. I felt sad. I felt like I was doing something wrong by simply looking for the truth. But then I realized that as long as my family are happy and my wife says that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, that's my wife, that's my lady, that's my support, then I feel like I am on the right path. And if we are being led to Dr. King's speeches on this new path, then I'm with it 100%. What are we going to do with these words that Dr. King left us with in his speech, I Had a Dream? That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. Please let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments below, because we can do this if we really wanted to. There's so many times where we go to church and we get that feel-good moment for the week. We get our reboot. It's like going to a gasoline station. We're filling up our tank, filling up our bodies, filling up our souls with that nourishment, that word of God. And that can get us through Monday through Saturday. And then come back on Sunday again and do it all over again. Or Saturday if you're Seventh-day Adventist. Or other days. I don't know what days you all worship. But sometimes, I know I'm guilty of it. I don't know, maybe y'all are not. But I know I've been guilty of it many times. Where Sunday was the day where I got it all out. Where I will praise and I will clap and I will dance and I will sing and I will cry and I will pray over other people and I will like just encourage other people to do just great things through God's mercy and God's grace. But then Monday through Saturday, I'm acting a daggone fool. Probably not Monday because it's too fresh then, but around about Tuesday, I'm back to doing what I do again. being a wretch. To save a wretch like me, being a wretch, being a fool. You know, the Bible says God protects babies and fools. I was back to being a fool by Tuesday, and then back in church listening to something just like I Have a Dream from the pastor, who's just giving us that reboot all over again. Some people receive that word and are changed until they get out the door of the church. We need to stop that mess. We need to do a lot better than what we're doing right now. Because at the end of the day, if you're far left or you're far right, you're doing all of this bickering and fighting the other side just so you could be right. And it's a bunch of BS. Let's fix this together, guys. Let's keep moving forward. Can we do that? Please let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button or the new super thanks button, and thanks to everyone who has been hitting that, thank you so much. Please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. You all have been amazing. I already know that we're going to continue to move in the right direction. And if nobody has told you this today, yesterday, this week, this month, this year, I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'll see y'all next time.